Hi guys, it's vlog time again, and this one is going to be pretty freaking big because we've got a lot to go over. And in fact, one part of it in particular is going to be so important that it's going to be a second mini vlog in and of itself. So once you're done with this one, because I'm sure this one is quite long, go ahead, hit up that one because I'm going to need your guys' help for something pretty important in the near future. So check that out too. So, but for this one, this is mostly convention talk and mostly just kind of updating a little bit because June was, whew. You can always kind of tell when I have a convention to go to when I have a month of videos that is just enormous. So yeah, MetroCon is in July this year, so June was quite busy for me. I hope everyone enjoyed it though, from the normal reviews to TerrorCon week and whatnot. I hope everyone did enjoy the new Plastic Addict. I'll go into it later because I want to do a commentary for that episode because hands down that was the most work that has ever gone into any one of my videos, both in writing and filming. So I really want everyone to just know how much did go into it. So over on TJOmega.org, hopefully in the next week or two, I'll post up the commentary there. Keep an eye out on Facebook and Twitter. I'll probably be posting about it there. It won't be posted on YouTube or anything because, well, it's just a commentary track. But for those interested in it and see just what went into that episode, yeah, it's going to be available. So, beyond that, we have conventions and actually, before we go on, I will state, since I am leaving at the end of July for the convention, it's a 5-day thing. Well, the convention's 3-day, but I'll be gone 5 pretty much. And after last month, you'll find I'm just kind of decompressing a little bit, which is why this is a vlog rather than a review, because I have things I'm really eager to review. I'm just kind of taking my time, kind of chillaxing. I'm never using that word again. So it'll be a light month for reviews, pretty much, just as I kind of recollect myself. But you'll get some more vlogs. I got some more MetroCon videos that I'm gonna post because I'm getting geared up for it. I want everyone who follows me for that stuff to get geared up too. So now we can talk what the title's all about, conventions, and we're gonna start with a little bit of San Diego Comic-Con before we get to the main event, because I know what a lot of you are waiting for. I know there's opinions on certain things at certain conventions that everyone wants to know about, for better or worse, whether it's the good stuff or the bad stuff. Yeah, we'll get to it all. We'll cover it all. San Diego Comic-Con just got who. It's like there's this weird trick of fate, where MetroCon normally happens in June, and somewhere down the line, fate went, hey, you know, all this really good expensive stuff is coming out in the middle of July. How about we move his convention a month late? That way, he'll have all the money to go because he's saving up for the convention, but he'll have all the money for all this stuff, but he won't be able to spend it. We are rich. So yeah, we found out that yeah, we're getting a special Metroplex at San Diego Comic-Con, which looks really freaking good, and I'm sure it'll be up on. It'll probably, just to spite me, go up on Hasbro Toy Shop while I am in Tampa. That's just the way things work. And then there's the Legacy Morpher 2, which I don't think that Bandai did say they'd sell any extras or leftovers after the con. There's not going to be any leftovers of that. I've got someone who might be trying to get me one that might be the one bit of splurging I do. It depends on how much it's going to be. As of this video, they haven't announced a price. So I'm hoping I get a shot at that, because I want that thing bad. I want that thing so bad. And I should have it. Right? Right. The Metroplex I want too, just because it looks so much nicer than the retail. Like, I'll take the retail if I have to, and it looks like I might have to, but oh, that is nice. And the related, and it's all, Metroplex I think is August 1st, right when I'll be completely broke. And the Legacy Morpher is at the con about a little less than a week after my birthday. Because my birthday's falling on the 16th this month. And just to spite me a little bit more, Masterpiece Soundwave can be bought at Toys R Us 2 days after my birthday. Right when I am not allowed to spend any money because I'll be a week away from the convention. It's a bitter little pill from fate to swallow, but I waited a while to get MP 10, or what used to be MP 10, last Optimus, so hopefully sometime in August I'll be able to get him instead. A lot of stuff coming in August too, though. Oh my god. August is trying to kill me financially. I mean, when the Masterpiece Prowl and Blue Streak got delayed, I was so happy. I was so happy. Because that's $100 I didn't have to spend, and then Soundwave's coming out, so I gotta freaking spend it again. But that's San Diego Comic-Con. That one hasn't happened yet. The one that has happened, just wrapped up this weekend, was Botcon 2013. And I had some preliminary thoughts in a previous vlog. Now we've got all the reveals and everything that happened and all the exclusives. So, if you catch me looking over here, it's because I'm currently using my big screen as a teleprompter. Like, the most awesome teleprompter ever. So, I've got a list of all the toys that they released for exclusives and such. I have thoughts. And then we have all the stuff they announced for release. So, I'm going to hit through all of that. And we start off with the box set. This was Hoist, Skywarp, Megaplex, Obsidian, and Strika. And right off the get-go, if you look at your theme of the year, and your thought is, you know what would make this more... You know what would really spice up this Machine Wars theme? Beast Machines. You're probably doing something wrong. I'm just saying... If your solution to making the most forgettable Transformer toy line ever into something more interesting, the answer should not be the least liked Transformer toy line ever, right? I will give them credit. Strika and Obsidian are probably the two most interesting things to come out of Beast Machines. So, okay, good on them using it. Strika should never be smaller than Obsidian. That's just wrong. So many levels of wrong. And then there's the fact that they used the whole thing of Obsidian and Strika was that they were supposed to be like ancient Autobot generals that fought for Cybertron. That's what they're about. It wasn't about good or evil. It was about defending Cybertron, and it made them a little bit more interesting as characters. So, using Machine Wars as kind of the backdrop for their legacy, what made them these famous figures in Cybertron history, that works. I will give them some credit there, as, you know, is like the final iteration of anything G1 or G2, anything vehicle-based before Beast Wars. That is the logical space in the storyline, in the timeline where that would happen. So good on them. They pulled a clever little trick there. I'm not going to be as forgiving on everything else. Skywarp, just no. Skywarp and Machine Wars looks terrible. You should never have a white Skywarp. He looks like they mirrored his color scheme, or like negative imaged him. They did give him like that warping effect, which is kind of cool, but you know they had to go to that just to make that toy look interesting. So again, there should be a hint here that you're not going in the right direction. And Hoist, ooh boy, I really don't like the look of that Hoist. Just way too dark, way too... And I know it's accurate. I know that's how the Machine Wars toy looked, but I'll give you the little secret. The Machine Wars toy didn't look that good either. And when you put it on, and you would put that homage on that cup mold, those stripes down the front, it looks like a prototype, like an unpainted prototype toy in like Urkel suspenders. Just not good, not good. So that one kind of put me off. And then there's Megaplex. Oh my, that is, number one, a Prime toy, which makes no sense to throw into this, but I'll get to that. And such a missed opportunity, because it's the decoy character, right? You know, you have a bunch of these. Like, you know, Megatron wouldn't have just one decoy. This was like perfect troop builder fodder, right? You know, figure out some like Machine Wars sound wave you can do, and then look over here, and we have this. We have them. You know, yeah, I'm looking over here. I've got jet molds of all different kinds. I'm trying to look for one that would make a good Megaplex, and I'm not really finding anything, unfortunately. I'm sure there was something that could have used. Just so many jet transformers. The point is, I would have paid big bucks if I could have gotten like 3 like light blue clone Megatrons, like as a troop builder for Megaplex. That would have been so cool. And that's not the direction they went in, and we'll get to that. And I don't know, it just felt so forced to use that toy, and it felt like such a missed opportunity. Then you've got the souvenirs, starting with Electro, or Electron now, which is a G2 toy, not Machine Wars. It's a better fit for the cup mold, but it's still not Machine Wars. You got Thundercracker, the obvious repaint. Starscream, who apparently is the toy that inspired the whole Machine Wars gimmick in the first place. They're thinking, well, who can we turn Terradive into? And, you know, they decided, well, the head kind of looks like Machine Wars Starscream, as I have an itch in my back. So, that, you know, again, if that's what inspired you in the first place, why is he not in the box set? Again, I question the logic that went into this decision. It looks okay, it does, but it doesn't completely fit. Not really. It's too small for starters, and I almost think that should have. I almost want to say. I almost want to say the Dreadwing mold would have worked better for that, because at least he would have been a lot bigger than the other jets. So maybe that's what they should have done. And let's see, we've got Sandstorm from the Skyhammer toy, which, okay, that's fine. I honestly forgot the Skyhammer toy existed for a little while. I honestly did, because, like, I remember when Dark of the Moon came out and that was the new toy, and it's like, oh my god, you gotta try this. Oh, go get Skyhammer. It's such a good toy. And I picked him up, and I'm like, he's okay. It's just not thrilling or anything. I don't know, it's just one of those toys that hit everyone in the right spot, and it never hit me. And then you got Mirage. Yeah, there's only one F1 car in any kind of modern aesthetic. They really need a new one. So they kind of pigeonholed themselves right there, painted themselves into a corner. They had to break out the classics mold again. And the last time I saw that mold used was Drag Strip for the special edition version. And it was already suffering from mold degradation to the point where the vehicle mode didn't hold together that well. And I thought, oh, that we shouldn't be using this anymore, aside from the fact we already used it previously for Botcon. Still did it, because they really had no choice. Yeah, the Troop Builder, which is apparently the most popular Troop Builder, the most, like, fastest selling exclusive they ever had. Good for them. Okay, they did the Rainmakers, Sunstorm, and then they named the other two Bitstream and Hotlink, because that makes so much sense for them to have internet terminology on Cybertron. It's not bad. I mean, if they were finally going to crank out a classic Sunstorm of any kind, you'd think, like, have white arms instead of black and make it complete. And they were saying, well, we were worried that Bitstream would look too much like Thundercracker. And I'm like, it does! It looks way too much like Thundercracker. In fact, it looks like a lighter colored version of a previous Botcon exclusive. Which, like, isn't there, like, something in the bylaws that say we will never make another toy like this ever again? Yada yada, you have our word, this will keep its value, yada yada yada. So, I thought, well, why not just, like, make the parts white? Or, like, at least, like, make them show accurate. Where, okay, you know, like, make them show accurate, where it's, like, the same color. Or, I know it's, like, I know they're trying to save on making these, because this is the first time the Troop Builder looks different. Like, significantly different. Like, okay, the Junkions had the same heads, but they all went through the same mold. They all went through the same machine with the same plastic and the same paint. This is the first time where they changed colors through the run to get all three of the Rainmakers. Okay, and fine. Good on you. Number one, still waiting for the Troop Builder for this Perceptor toy. Because that was supposed to be Reflector and no one's done them yet. I can only assume someone's going to because they keep putting off doing it because it's too freaking obvious. They have to do that. Beyond that, you know, I will admit, I really do want that set. I'll never afford it because it's already like tripled in value. Like, there's so much demand for those three. And I was trying to find someone who was there who would middleman it for me, and like the guy I found was like upcharged it twice as much, which is not middlemaning. It's scalping directly now. That sucked. So that didn't happen. So no Rainmakers for me. Man, I still don't even have like the Action Master Thundercracker they did. Like, I just really like those like obscure seekers out of that classics mold that they do. So I need to go back for that Thundercracker first, and then then we'll see about Rainmakers. But okay, I will admit, okay, that's a good idea, and it was apparently a very marketable idea. But again, your most popular thing came from a classics toy, a G1 character set, not Machine Wars, not Beast Machines. And then you got the custom class character, which was Warpath done up as Blast Charge. Makes no sense whatsoever, because Strike and Obsidian were from the Ancient Wars. Blast Charge is just another Viacon. Doesn't make sense for him to exist during the Machine Wars. They just pulled it out of their ass so they could use the tank mold again. And there's no link. There is none. The link is that they have a gun in their chest. That's it. Because otherwise, those two toys have absolutely nothing in common whatsoever. They're not both tanks. For starters, you know, Warpath is the alien-looking H tank, and Blast Charge is this troop carrier. It's like armored transport vehicle. It's not the same thing, guys. It's just kind of obvious they're just trying to use the mold again, which is all they're doing, and frankly weren't that successful at it. So that kind of annoyed me. It's like, oh god, you're going to turn one of the best molds in the last 5 years into one of the worst toys ever. Whatever, it's just the custom class character. Which you can buy an unpainted, assembled version now, which is cool. I wish it would have been unassembled, because I think it would have been really cool to own the toys, like, still on the sprue. Like, I would never build it. I was just like, yeah, this is my Botcon Blast Charge. Hold up a model tray. That seems more cool than having, like, a Generations Blast Charge. That seems cooler to me. And it irks me because this means my 2010 set will never be complete because, like, you had to go to the custom class to get the G2 Sideswipe from that time. And and I like, the closest I'll ever come to owning it is the footage I took of one in my friend's hotel room. Because, oh my god, there's only like 50 of them. Never gonna happen. But now it does, which sucks, because now it's easy to have a complete set of exclusives from one year. You know, if you're from 2012 or before, you're boned. So, that's all the exclusives aside from the Creon set of the box set. Okay, that's fine. Okay, it's a cool little, cute little thing. Nothing offensive there. My overall thought of it is extremely disjointed, and here's why. It took, for this set of exclusives, it took 6 toy lines, okay? It took Generations, Revenge of the Fallen, Hunt for the Decepticons, Prime, Dark of the Moon, and Classics. You had to take toys from 6 different series in order to actually accomplish this, and I know you can make the arguments. Generations and Classics are roughly in the same aesthetic, especially when you're talking about that Warpath mold, because it is very Classics in style. I don't think the Cup mold so much is. The Cup mold has a lot more of that movie engineering influence behind it. You can tell it's not quite as not quite as clean or solid. A little bit more complex and overthought. And you could say, yes, the Revenge of the Fallen and Hunt for the Decepticons, yes, is technically the same line. They shared a lot of the molds, and yeah, okay, fine. I would argue that Dark of the Moon does not have the same aesthetics, because the design approach to those toys were so different. And I would argue that Prime doesn't fit into either, because it's got the movie complexity, but it's got the sleek nature of, like, Generations and Classics. It kind of fits into one, it kind of fits into both. That means it kind of doesn't fit in anywhere. So, for me, this is just like this crash of things that aren't meant to go together, trying to work, and it just doesn't. I mean, fictionally, you're mixing Generation 1, Generation 2, Machine Wars, and Beast Machines into the same amalgamized thing, and it's not meshing. You know, it's not coming together like ingredients of a cake. It's coming like, I don't know, that marshmallow goo stuff that your grandma would make. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's just like marshmallows, fruit, and slime. That stuff. It's just like, I'm so upset with Botcon, because it's just so. They had to pull from so many different directions for this set. They had to pull from so many different fictions. It just streamed of incoherency, you know, because if you wanted to use G2, if you wanted to use Machine War Starscream, use him. He could be something, right? You could throw him into any line or G2 baseline, or you could have used. There are other ways to use him, basically. It's just such a creative void there. You know, in the last 2 years, especially last year, going back to Shattered Glass again, you can really kind of, it's palpable just how much they stretch for ideas now. You know, and I'm asking myself, what happened to them thinking of things that fans actually wanted? Because no one's clamoring for new Machine Wars. You know, what about, you know, like, some of the best sets I ever saw were like the Beast Wars set, like the pre-Beast Wars, were all Cybertronian design. That's a brilliant set. It's absolutely brilliant. I would love for them to like revisit that set with like either ones that weren't included before, or go to like the Japanese, like go, you know, what would a Lio convoy look like in a pre-Beast Wars body, or a Kurata, you know, that kind of thing. You know, you could turn things on their heads the way that Shattered Glass did, that works so well. You know, try to think of a different ideology for the Autobots and Decepticons based in G1, but doing something different that lets you approach the characters in different ways. You know, something that lets you kind of play with their identities and create new things that fans hadn't thought of before. That, is the same idea behind Shattered Glass. And there are ways of doing that. Ways that are very long to explain, and I won't get into this. Hello. Unicron Trilogy. The people going to Botcon now are the fans who got back into it because of these toys over my shoulder. They're at that age now where they're starting to attend the conventions. They are your future. It's time to play to them a little bit. And I look at like movie molds, and I look at some of the classics and even the Prime molds, and I see where there is room to recreate some of those Unicron Trilogy characters in new bodies and create a new fiction expanding off of that franchise. I know it's not the best remembered, but it is where a lot of the new fans came from, and it's kind of time to play on that. My thought anyway. So there's that. You'll excuse me as my stupid thing has gone to screensaver as I jiggle my mouse every now and then. So okay, that's the exclusives though. Toys I'll probably never own and really don't desire to own outside of the Rainmakers.